Welcome back, developers. We're going to start talking about if statements. So going into our flow control folder, there's a 08 folder. There's going to be a file sitting here waiting for us to write some code. So I'm going to start off by simply declaring a variable for us to do some logic off of. Variable age, and I'm going to say 20. Okay. So let me just get the live server running. Because actually what I want to see primarily is I want to focus on the console, because I'm going to start logging a bunch of messages. So this isn't going to be as much about the graph as it is about the console messages that we're going to see getting spit out here. So age is 20, and I'm going to say console.log. I'm going to put out a console.log message that doesn't make sense. It is of drinking age. Okay. So what I intend to happen is that I only want to see this console log message if the age, meets the drinking age requirements. Okay, and so the way we do that is that we are going to wrap this statement in an if statement. We're going to wrap this console log statement in an if statement. And so an if statement looks like this. We have an expression that needs to be evaluated, and then it gets followed up by a code block. And so this is what it means to wrap code, wrap a statement, to surround code with an if statement. And so this if statement is going to execute now if this expression is true. For example, if I just hard code the value true, we're going to see that, hey, is of drinking age. That's beautiful. Now, 20 is not of drinking age, so this shouldn't be logged. So what we need to do is we need to evaluate age, and we need to say if age is greater than or equal to 21. Greater than or equal to 21. If age is greater than or equal to 21, we're going to see the console log message there. And it's not, right? So because it's not, we're not going to see a console log message, and let's actually put the value 21 there. And we see now on the right-hand side that this is being logged. And why is that being logged? That's being logged because the if statement is evaluating this statement is true. I can do this with two variables, not just a variable and a hard-coded value. I can say drinking age is 21, right? And I can now make this off of two different variables, right? Just so some simple, some simple comparison here off of numbers. The numbers here are two variables. And if the two variables, fulfill this expression is true, then we're going to get the console log message. So var is of drinking age. So that's a really long variable name, right? All right. I'm going to just put is of age. So now what I'm doing is I'm just taking this expression, and I'm separating it out on top of it, in case you need to see it a little differently. That's going to yield a Boolean, right? And now I'm just using that Boolean here. All right, and then you can see in the graph that we're going to have three variables, the age, the drinking age, and this Boolean, which is true. So if this expression yields true, this statement is going to execute. All right, now we could do this with strings as well, right? So if I had a variable, my favorite color, and my favorite color is red, and var, I'm going to say a target color is blue. What I want to say is if my favorite color is the same as the target color, then we're going to say the colors match. And this is going to yield an expression of false. So my console log is not going to hit, right? It's not going to hit. That's the if statement. Now, again, now we're going to use the not. If we say not, right? So the exclamation is the not that's going to negate the equality. So if the favorite color is not equal to the target color, we're going to say colors do not match. Let's hit save, and now we have this expression here. Okay, so that's just the if statement. We can do with an expression, that's going to yield true or false. And if this statement here, this expression here yields true, the code block is going to execute. All right. Now, I could say, I can actually double this up. I'm going to go back and put age in here. Before I double up, let me do something more. Favorite color, the target. Let me get rid of this target color. Let's just say if my favorite color is red. Your color is red. Beautiful. And why not just mix this in and do the backticks. Your color is, and now I'm going to use the string interpolation. I'm going to put it in here just to incorporate the string interpolation into the code that we're doing here for the if statement. So if fav color is red, we're going to do this. Now, what if I wanted to send out a different message? Let me copy my if statement. And if my favorite color is blue, then I'm gonna, blue, right? If I'm gonna do blue, let me change this to blue. If fav color is equal to blue, then what do we have here? We have that your color is blue. So this if statement is not being met. This statement here is not being executed. And so what's happening here top down, as the code executes top down, this expression is being evaluated. At this point in time, it's determined not to be true, so we move on. Then this statement is evaluated, and then we move on. In fact, because it is true, it goes in here. Now, what if I went with green, right? So if I went with green, let me point out what's going on. The favorite color gets assigned to the value of blue. We do this check, and we yield the fact that this is false. So line 28 does not execute. Then we do the check on line 30. Now, we find that line 30 yields true, so then we execute that your favorite color is blue. Okay, that's great, and you can see here on line 32 that this is what's being logged out. But now that we've checked that the favorite color is blue, we still actually go to the trouble, hey, is your favorite color green? And now we're doing that check even though we've already determined that the favorite color is blue. Some would say that this is excessive, right? Because, in fact, it is excessive. Once I determine what my favorite color is, all the other checks below it are moot. Like, there's no need to make those checks. So, for example, I'll make this even more aggressive. In here, we're going to log on line 28. Here on the right-hand side, you can see that log line 28 is the one that's being fired. And every other if statement now, this is going to make a check for no reason because the favorite color is red. It can't be two values, but I'm still bothering to check. I'm still bothering to check because I have three separate if statements here. And those three separate if statements behave independent of one another. And so for that reason, we have the else if statement. So the else if statement is essentially a part of the if statement that says else if. So you just throw an if in front of it. And now this is this becomes one statement, right? A series of if statements that will conditionally check the else if portion if the preceding if yields false. And so this now checks if it's red, it immediately goes in here. And it no longer checks if it's blue or if it's green. Okay? It doesn't check if it's blue, if it's green, because as soon as one of these statements yields true, it doesn't check the next one. So in the case of green, I'll go in the case of blue so I can show you. Again, it's not that right now without me going into more developer tools, you're not going to be able to see it. So we'll have an advanced portion of this to go into developer tools so that you can see whether or not these console logs, there's only one console log happening here, right? So in the favorite color is blue, this yields false. This expression gets evaluated. It yields false, so line 28 does not execute. The else if fires, hey, it's blue. This yields true, so this fires. And because we found this to be true, there's nothing else part of the if statement that needs to go out amongst its business, right? Now, what if I said my color was orange? What's gonna get logged? Nothing gets logged, because every single one of these checks is actually happening, but none of them actually yield true, so nothing executes. And so as a default, we have the else, which is basically the default. If none of the conditions are met, then we're going to console log a special message. And let me put this out here. Your color, I'm going to say unknown color is that. Unknown color, and that's coming out of line 40. Now, this else statement I put at the end of the if-else statements, right? It can go in at the end of any if statement, right? But it should be at the end, right? That it wouldn't work if it was otherwise. So let's back this up and say this, right? Now, this is going to change this a little bit because now if I break this up and I say, let's see what I broke this up. I'm going to actually set up an if-else if, right? So the if-else if, there's no else to it. So these two lines are going to only execute if it's red or blue, okay? So let me put in blue, and we're going to see that this line is going to execute. Then below, we have a separate statement. Then we're going to evaluate, hey, if the color is green, then we are going to console log my favorite color is green, your color is green. Otherwise, we're going to log this one. So what we're going to see is that I'm going to put in blue and red, and we'll see that the top line, your color is blue, that gets logged out. Let me click on here. Let me hide this, and we will see here at the bottom. This is tough to get a hold of sometime, but here, top, your color is blue, okay? That's where the blue came from. And then it went into the separate if-else statement. If the color is green, it logs green. Otherwise, it logs the unknown color. Okay, so that's the if-else. This one is only going to log 2. This one does not have this code block here. This if-else if statement does not have a default. This if-else statement does have the default. That's the else. It behaves as the default behavior, right? That if the statements above it, the if statements above it, don't yield or find a true statement, then it goes into the else statement, right? Because you'll see that the else, there's no condition associated with the else, so it's always going to execute, okay? Now, this is done off of comparisons. As you might have seen already, we can do with, let's do it, we did it off of numbers. We can also do it off of objects, right? So let's just bring back Alex as this object who's got a first name. Oh, so here's Alex, and here's var friend that actually is Alex. All right, so you might want to take a little quick screenshot of this, or stop here if you wanted to keep this code for yourself, because I'm about to delete it. Here it goes. And now I have two friends. Well, actually, I have one friend, but he's got two names. Let's hit save and see what happens over here. And now what I want to say, if my friend is Alex, right? If those two objects are the same, I'm going to console log same person. Else, if I'm going to say, in fact, now I'm going to yield, so I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to put Alex type is equal to type of Alex. Let me get rid of this guy for a second. And we'll see we got the same person because the comparison operator is actually checking, do these two variables, Alex and friend, do their pointers point to the same object? Yes, of course they do. Now we have Alex type, which is an object. This is a string. So if for some reason, I wanted to just show you how this works. It still works with a mixture of things. We can say if Alex type is object, then what we want to do is I want to console log Alex.firstName. Right? Oh, actually, friend. If friend is object, I want to console log friend.firstName. So for the time being right now, Alex is the same person as friend. It's the same object as friend, so I'm going to console log the same person. All right. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change friend, and I'm going to make it a separate object. I'm going to make it Bob. And so what we're going to see here is that this gets evaluated. That yields false. And then else if friend is object. Oh, friend is not object. It's Alex type. Oh, wait. So I mixed this up. So I wanted to see the type of... I wanted to do the type of friend. If the friend type is object, right? If this is object, then what I want to do is I want to console log the object's first name. And there we have Bob. Okay, so here we are doing if else statements on comparing objects, right? Because we can get a true or false value out of them. And now we're comparing even really some other random value that we got from doing this using the type of operator and getting a string, comparing strings here. So here we have objects. These objects can have other properties. So let's just say Alex has a property of age, and we're going to make it 21. And we're also going to say if this guy has another value there. So in the if-else statement world, we're going to use these objects. We're going to say if the friend, if friend.age is greater than Alex.age, we're going to say console.log. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to, again, backtick the $ curly bracket. We're going to access friend.firstName is older than, and again, let's buy some more space here so we can see this. I'm going to say that friend is older than Alex.age, right? Because what I'm looking to do here is I'm saying a friend.age is 21 greater than Alex.age, friend, which is 25. If friend 25, Alex age is 21, so we're going to see if this gets evaluated correctly, right? I'm expecting this to get logged because Bob is older than Alex. Else, I'm going to flip it. I'm going to copy this guy and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to say that it's friend and Alex. So right now, Bob is older than, first name, and I did age, sorry, I meant to say first name here and first name there. And now we're going to hit save, and Bob is older, right? That makes sense. Bob is older, that makes sense. Let's go and change Alex's age to 30, and now we're going to see this flip. And we're going to see this flip where it says Alex now is older than Bob because Alex is 30 years old as opposed to Bob being 25. Okay? And you can see again these objects, how they're being rendered. We're comparing not just simple variables, simple value types, strings and numbers. We're going to compare the strings and numbers inside of an object. Okay? So again, to continue with this, we can come back, we can go down. Let me actually push this down. If my Alex.firstName starts with A, we're going to console.log starts with A, right? So now we're doing it based off of executing this function that we've reviewed in a prior video. And if you missed it, just do a quick Google JavaScript string starts with. What this does is that this yields a Boolean. Does it start with, does the string start with the letter A? It is case sensitive, so if I do a lowercase, it doesn't work. So if Alex, that first name starts with A, we're going to console log starts with A. Else, we are going to console log starts with another letter, okay? And so at the top now we're going to see starts with A because it is obviously A. And then it says it starts with another letter, but I want to do another condition. Else if Alex, that first name dot starts with what I want it to start with. Let's just say if it starts with AM, right? So I'm actually going to say AM here. If it starts with AM. Else if it starts with A. So Alex is not going to work anymore, but if I change it to Amy, this will be fine. In fact, let me leave Alex alone. So Alex is Alex, and I am going to say if it starts with BO for my friend. So if my friend first name starts with BO, go for it. Starts with BO. Otherwise, if it starts with A, we're going to fall in here. So the friend starts with that. That's good. So again, all you need to do is just put in something that yields a Boolean value, right? So this starts with gives us a Boolean. The comparison equals, the triple equals, or the not equals is going to yield a Boolean. Using the if-else statements in this manner, you can control what chunk of code gets executed under the right conditions. And it's these same if statements. It doesn't get any more complicated than this. These if statements, well, it might get a little bit more complicated, but this is the basic fundamental building block of what you have heard referred to as algorithms. So algorithms are how we optimize our code. And optimizing our code is simply done by, do I need to go left or do I need to go right? Do I need to make this decision to do this operation, or do I need to make this decision to do this operation? Or is there yet another third thing that I could potentially do? All of that is done off of if-else statements, right? At the heart are if-else statements. Comparison. I'm going to compare an object. I'm going to evaluate an expression, a condition of the current environment of the program, and I make a decision to execute the specified block of code because we have determined that is the best block of code to run. And at the heart of that fancy word algorithm, and what is an algorithm, what could an algorithm be, is the if statement. And it starts off with this basic building block of using if and inserting here some type of expression that is going to yield a true or false. Okay, so now we're going to get into doing more complex if statements that I just alluded to. They get a little bit more complicated.